If you're looking to buy a guitar for the first time, for yourself or for somebody else, keep watching. I'm making 3 assumptions in this video. The first one is that you're either new to guitar or you're purchasing a guitar for someone who is. The second one is that you feel a little intimidated when you walk into a guitar store and you see that giant wall of guitars and you're not sure which one to get, what kind to get, wood, all the technical stuff that goes into buying a guitar. The last assumption is that your budget is somewhat small, maybe $100 to $400. Based on these assumptions, we can actually kind of skip some of the technical things in guitar buying because we're not buying an investment guitar. In other words, a guitar that we're going to be spending the rest of our lives with. We're buying what we would call a starter guitar, something to get our hands on guitar, start playing, and know if this is really for us. And because of that, we can kind of keep it simple. In fact, we're gonna just boil it down to 5 basic things to look for when you're buying a guitar. Let's get to the first one. So the first question is, should I buy an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar? There's lots of options. There's a lot of traditionalists out there that would say that you should always start with an acoustic guitar. That's where you always begin, and then you move into electric guitar. In my experience, this is not true. What kind of music do you listen to? When you imagine yourself playing guitar, what do you imagine yourself playing? If you want to make acoustic sounds and you can't because you're playing electric guitar, you're not going to play the guitar. And vice versa. If you want to make really awesome electric guitar sounds and you only have an acoustic guitar, it's not going to sound the way you want it to, and you're not going to play it. It's going to be disappointing. So get the guitar that matches the style of music that you want to play. A guitar needs to be comfortable. When I say comfortable, this is kind of a broad statement. We're not just talking about how our hands wrap around the neck and whether we can reach the strings. We're talking about how the guitar fits our body, the way it sits on our legs, the way our arms go over it, and the way that it feels when we're pushing down on the strings, we're playing chords and scales and things like that. It needs to be comfortable. If it's not, well, it's not. The next thing you want to do is search the guitar for damage or defects. We don't want to buy a damaged guitar. Look at all the joints on the guitar. Make sure there's no cracks or separation. The joints are where wood has been glued together. So that can be the neck, where the neck meets the body of the guitar. All of the seams where the body has been glued together. If you're looking at an acoustic guitar, we want to check the bridge, front and back. Make sure the strings aren't pulling the bridge up off of the neck. Guitars in music stores get handled by a lot of people. There's a very good possibility that there's a ding, or somebody has, somebody when they're setting it down, they've knocked it against another guitar. They've even maybe dropped it or knocked it over. So we want to be checking for scratches and damage of any kind. If you find any dings or scratches, as long as they're not too giant, that's really not a big deal. It's really up to you whether you want to buy that particular instrument, but could get you a discount. Next thing to check is the action on the guitar. This one is a little bit technical, so you'll want to pay close attention. The action is the distance between the guitar strings and the fretboard. It's how far you have to push the strings down to get any sound out of the guitar. If this distance is too great, it actually becomes harder to play the guitar. If it's too little, if the strings are too close to the fretboard, you'll get lots of buzzes and the guitar will not sound good. We need it to be right in the middle. The distance between your strings and fretboard should be roughly 1/8 of an inch to 1/16 of an inch. Please note that this is kind of an oversimplification. When we're talking about setting up high quality guitars, they start getting into really big fractions, kind of really technical stuff. The easiest way to check this is to hold the guitar, look straight down, observe the space between the strings and the fretboard. Another thing you can do to kind of check the action to make sure it's not too low or too high is actually to just play the guitar. Put your fingers on the guitar, maybe check each fret. Just kind of observe how easy it is to push down on the strings, and listen for buzzes if there's a lot of buzzing going on that isn't caused by you not pushing a string down properly. then that may mean that the strings are too close to the fretboard and the action needs to be adjusted. The last thing that you want to check before you buy your guitar is that there's a good return policy. In the end, you're going to take this guitar home, you're going to play on it. You might see something at home that you didn't see at the store, some damage, or maybe you just decide that the guitar doesn't fit you the way you'd like it to, and you're going to want to be able to take it back if that's what you need to do. Obviously, we shouldn't abuse this, but we do want an instrument that works for us. In the end, buying your first guitar shouldn't be too overly complicated, and we shouldn't overthink it too much. It is your first guitar. You're going to get many other guitars after this if you do learn how to play and you're enjoying it. To help you out, I've listed below a few brands that you should stay away from based off of experience seeing my students play on these guitars, and they're just not good. And also a list of guitars that are good. I've seen them come through my studio. People have used them for years, and they've been really, really good guitars. If this video was helpful and you'd like to see more like it, please take the time to like it, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell so you'll know about new videos as I post them, and most importantly, please go over to my Patreon page and become a patron. It's the best way you can support me. Thanks so much. We'll see you later.